3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to 321 Liftoff. My name is Wayne Belden, and I'm the president of Belden Communications, publisher of the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com. And we'll be bringing you 321 Liftoff every week, talking about tourism in Florida's fabulous Space Coast. With me are your hosts, Pete Lynch, known as Promo Pete, the Director of Business Development for the Space Coast Fun Guide and SpaceCoastFunGuide.com, and Bonnie King, former Deputy Director of the Space Coast Office of Tourism, as well as past President of the Florida Film Commission. Pete, Bonnie, we are thrilled to have you both as co-hosts of 321 Liftoff.
All right. Hey, Friday!
What a beautiful day.
Oh, my goodness.
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
It is really nice out here, and welcome to another great week on Florida's Space Coast. We are here today in the Eau Gallie Arts District, a downtown area of restaurants and art galleries, locally owned retail boutique shops, and of course the bakeries that I love so much, not to mention all the murals that are painted onto the buildings that tower above us as we walk by. And as always, our show is sponsored by Beachside Hotel and Suites in Cocoa Beach. So if you're looking for a great place to stay when you're coming to our area, make sure you check them out. But today our tourism conversation will be with Lisa Packard, the director of the Eau Gallie Arts District, or EGAD as it's called.
EGAD.
There you go. Lots to discuss, about what is happening in the area and all that. But first, let me say hello to my co-host, Bonnie King. How you doing?
Hey, Pete. How are you?
We're great.
Hey, I'm really happy to be here because EGAD is a charming historic town with many special events, great shopping, and fabulous restaurants where you can relax and just kick back. And one of the things that we want to talk to Lisa about today is going to be about her retirement, which is coming up very soon. We'll discuss who's going to take her place and what will be new for 2021. And also with us is our good friend, John Belden, Vice President of Belden Communications. Hey, John, how's it going?
Fantastic. It's beautiful here. And I have to admit, I don't actually get down here as much as I probably should. Space Coast is 72 miles long, and this area is really distinct. But I have to say, when I drove in here this morning, I saw some beautiful murals on the side of the buildings, and it definitely caught my eye. And it states that this area has a flair for arts and creativity.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful. I think I'm going to like it here.
Oh, yeah. You're going to definitely like it here, of course, man. And of course, the lady that has brought so much attention to this part of the Space Coast
Along
is
with
Lisa
others.
Packard. There you go. A true leader. Will thank everybody else too. But thank you very much. The director of EGAD. Welcome, Lisa. How are you?
Thank you. I'm thrilled. This is exciting. I love any chance to talk to Bonnie.
Oh,
I love
thanks.
any chance to show off EGAD. And we've
Yeah.
got an amazing day. We're outside.
Beautiful
in case you can
weather.
hear trucks.
Yeah.
Under the live oaks here. And it's really fantastic. And I
We're in
appreciate
a garden area that overlooks the downtown area, and and with the sun out and hitting with these trees, these oak line trees. Oh my God!
It's a perfect area for hot coffee or hot cocoa.
Absolutely, and I have my hot coffee right here.
I saw the news, and it is snowing in a large portion of our country right now. And here we are sitting outside.
That's right.
On a Friday morning. It's beautiful out.
So happy that we live in Florida.
You gotta love
on
it.
the Space Coast. It's great.
Yep. It's always
Best
sunny on the
place to be.
Space Coast.
And this is a great
Always
place to
sunny.
come down and walk. It's, park and then just walk around. Do what you want to do. You don't have to keep moving your car or anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's I love those kinds of things. I've got kids, and keeping them interested, and being able to just park and, like you said, walk around everywhere. It's like one central location makes it fun. And you get to see all the little shops, and it's neat.
And a lot of people, that's a state highway, and that's a state highway or state road, and so about 22,000 cars drive by that square every day, and so many people never stop.
Right.
So our job 10 years ago when we started the Main Street program was to get people to stop and realize what was here. But even before the Main Street program, there's a river right there, and there's public parks on that river, and there's a library.
Right.
And a civic center. There was life here long before the Main Street program showed up. But what wasn't here really was all the businesses. It was about maybe 40% empty.
Really?
Yeah, there was a lot of these doors were vacant.
So you guys have really revived that.
Yes, we've done some crazy things. We've taken some heat for some of the crazy things.
You have done some crazy
But-
things.
All
yeah.
great things start with a
We will
crazy
definitely
idea.
get to
Absolutely.
that.
But that's the whole point of EGAD. This is where it would happen. It wouldn't happen anywhere else. We are sort of, and actually, Eau Gallie has a history of being a little bit of the rebellious child.
I
So-
can't imagine after talking with you for a few minutes.
That we're rebellious or a little
yeah,
nutty.
Yeah, no, rebellious.
Well, years ago, it was interesting because Eau Gallie was its own
Yes,
city.
it was an independent
and then
city.
it got incorporated into Melbourne.
Yes.
But now we kept that name Eau Gallie, and it's the Eau Gallie Art.
Well, when it was annexed in 1969, the city actually asked everybody,
Yeah.
each side, everybody to join. Eau Gallie was the only community that said yes. And there's some historic folks here that are mad that Eau Gallie wasn't kept. It's officially
Yeah.
City of Melbourne. But here, everybody still calls it Eau Gallie.
Eau
There are
Gallie.
people that still have Eau Gallie on their driver's license. It's kind of like the Confederates. They've still got Dixie money under the bed.
So I just got a shout out from Palm Springs, California. They said they actually love this area. So people in California,
good.
they're ready to come over to this neck of the woods. They say it looks so beautiful. So great job.
It is. And right jump over the causeway, you're about a mile and a half from the beach.
Look at that.
And that's why I love doing this show. So when John and his father came up with the idea to do 3, 2, 1 liftoff, the idea was to let everybody know about all of the
Hidden
great things
gems.
on the hidden gems. I mean, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, everything on the Space Coast. Everybody knows when you come here, Kennedy Space Center is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing some really good things too, which we're going to be talking about next week, which we're excited about. But also, you know, the beaches are wonderful, everything. But now we get to talk about, like, really dig in. If you're coming to this area and you're here for a few days,
Yeah.
there's a lot to
What
do.
do you do? Right,
And so we're very excited to have you here and learn more about what
Um,
we can do
thank
here.
you.
Because
Welcome.
people can definitely spend a day, a night, or
Oh,
a few
absolutely.
days,
Absolutely.
And
you know,
it's a
walking around
great
here.
place to do your Christmas shopping.
Yes, very much
Great
so.
place.
And we now have several B&Bs
Okay.
or Airbnbs in the community. So if you don't want to stay at a hotel,
Sure.
Although we have a brand new hotel coming in.
That's
Yeah.
so
In the
in the
exciting.
next couple of years or so. So
That's
things
awesome.
are 10 years. It's been 10 years. It's really different. Another 10 years, you're really going to have your mind blown.
So
Lots going on.
tell us your background, like how you got involved in all this, and where did you come from?
In the beginning.
Well, as Tommy Smothers said, I grew up as a child. I started out as a child. There's my age. No, I grew up in the Air Force, and my dad was.
Thank you for your
he
service.
Retired in '68. We left Germany and moved to Cocoa. I was part of Kennedy, and then the mission, the shuttle was an idea at the time. It got riffed, so we moved up to Maryland. One of my oldest friends from the 8th grade invited me down for Cocoa High School, class of '73, which I did not
Represent.
graduate, but I started the brand new school. They went on a cruise, and she said, "Come on down. We just need people to fill the cruise. You'll do."
Oh my gosh.
So I came down, and it was like a couple years later. It was like, I this is where I need to come. I'm ready to get out of DC. So, but as an Air Force kid, you don't live in a downtown, and usually air bases are not in the middle or near a downtown. They're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So would go to my father's place where he grew up, Lancaster, Ohio, and you see downtown where there's a Woolworths and a butcher and a bakery and all that. And at a very young age, I became very enamored of that. And my uncles owned the butcher in town, and they had this massive old brass cash register. And I would have to
nice.
get up on a stool and push the massive, it's a tiny, probably the size of a penny, but in my memory, it's like the size of a Kennedy dollar. You push
Wow.
that dollar, I could get a dime, and go outside to the little street. They had a Coke machine outside, and I could get an ice cold crush out of a bottle, ice dripping.
like the glass bottle type
Oh.
thing?
Yes.
Oh,
And
that sounds so
that was
nice.
it.
Those.
I've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
mesmerized with downtowns ever since then. I was the Woolworth queen in my mind. I just don't understand why I don't come from that family. But yeah, so I showed up, and when I got here in 2010, I looked everywhere. I had a little blog that I knew 10 people and nobody read it. But I would go to breakfast over there and go check that place out. And I really did my homework, and I kept coming back to Eau Gallie because there's a clear village here.
Yeah.
There was something was here. It's still here.
Yep.
And it's a gem, but it needs some infusion. And there were like-minded people, just happened to be, thinking along the same lines. And the Main Street program was formed, and they said, "Hey, do you want to be on the board?" And I went, "I don't know you people, but heck yeah."
Sounds like a good time.
Let's do that. And what we do here is try to curate a neighborhood, and that is not easy. And we work.
certainly not.
It doesn't happen without tons of volunteers and tons of stakeholders that kind of fuel you. But that's how I got to here, with some jobs and some college and all that along the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's, you could see the history when you come here.
Yeah, you really could.
You really can, and you can vision that. And I like to do that. I like to go to places like that, and they've been around for a long time. And
Yeah.
you say, man, I can only imagine what it was like in the heyday. And then here we are again. You revived it.
Yeah.
And all the things that are coming. And again, this is one of those areas I hear about all the time. I mean, obviously with Space Coast Fun Guide and spacecoastfunguide.com, we promote the area. And I always, Eau Gallie Arts District is one of the things that we provide and promote through Brevard Cultural Alliance. I haven't been here, but I've heard so many great things about it. And it's nice to finally get here and get to see it. It's one of those things you definitely had to come check out.
And I think one of the great things, too, is in the Space Coast Fun Guide is the map that kind of shows where everything is.
Yep.
And what's really cool about the Space Coast is that we have so many distinct, as we said at the beginning, distinct areas. Like when you're in the north end of the county, you've got the downtown Titusville area. Then you've got the Cocoa Village area in the central and the downtown Cocoa Beach area. You got downtown Melbourne, and then you've got this beautiful historic district of the Arts
Right, and that's
District
why we
here.
call ourselves the district.
I know.
To be distinct from
Right, from
downtown
exactly.
X or Y. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a very good idea.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this since, 2010, you
The
said?
program is, as a nonprofit and as a Florida Main Street program, is officially designated since 2010. And then I was on the board right away, and then a couple of years, and then I stepped off, just did other things for a couple of years, and then ended up taking the executive director position in 2014. So I'm wrapping up 6 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So let's talk about some of the things that people
Yeah.
can see, right? Because the first thing that I saw when I drove in was the murals.
Yeah.
And I know that there's guided tours and stuff that people can
There are.
go around.
I think it's the third Saturday of the month. We have a couple different people that offer narrated tours.
Yeah.
There's also a link on our website if you're the sort that wants to just look at the map and walk around on your own. You certainly can, or take the narrated tour because they're so knowledgeable. The first time they gave one, it was 3 hours, and I was like, "You gotta cut that.
yeah.
Cut it down to an hour." But they're passionate and they know all the details about it and everything. So yeah, it's a 1 hour tour.
Okay.
And
And can you tell people
gigantic.
your website just so
Yeah, so they
while
can
everybody's
go look at
listening,
it.
so they
We
can look at
changed
it.
our website a couple of years ago to kind of play off the SALT life, and so it's egadlife.com. EGAD, which stands for Eau Gallie Arts District.
Okay.
egadlife.com.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you guys, if you're out there, pull up their website. You can see.
Look at
but,
those fabulous murals.
It
And
really
they're
is
big.
amazing.
Yeah. I want to tell you a little
Big.
bit about the shark one. That's one of the first
the
real
big
big one that
one,
went
yeah.
up. And the artist was amazing. He was here for a week, and we put him up actually in my house, which I wasn't living in, and we took him out to see wildlife, and he really immersed himself in the area. While he was, painting, he had to wait for the sun to go down because it's so hot on that wall. So he only painted
You don't
like,
think
after
about
that.
that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, but he loved it so much, and that building is in really bad shape. So he said, when that thing comes down, just call me. I'll come back and do another one.
Oh, wow.
He actually
That's
said,
awesome.
he's from LA and he travels everywhere, but he actually said, if I was going to pick another place to live, it'd be here.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You get that quickly when you come here. It's a fun place to come, obviously visit, but the vibe. I mean, everybody's life is so busy and crazy, and I know everybody's, especially people up north in New York and whatnot. And you come down here, and it's just so comfortable and cozy and just relaxed. And I think you miss that instantly when you leave. It's like, I got to get back there.
Well, the other thing that's unique about this neighborhood that I've heard from other downtowns is the merchants are fairly tight.
Yeah.
They really help each other out. There was one a couple of years ago that ran around and put put a bunch of people's hurricane shutters up.
Yeah.
Somebody else had just, made all this. Well, Anthony Saland at Standard Collective made a lot of the interior that you see at FM Pizza Oven. The
Okay.
signage, the booklet.
So I love that.
Did a lot. They really, really interact and interface with each other very much.
Yep, and the visitors really appreciate that too. That's something we get a lot of feedback from the visitors that follow social media and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's something too that they feel very welcome.
Yeah, and when Salty Fox Pub was they had just opened, there was one of the owners from the Intercoastal Pub. Hi, Kyle. He was over there having lunch every day because they didn't serve lunch anyway at that time. So they're all in and out of each other's businesses as well, even though they both sell alcohol, but they still visit.
Yeah.
And somebody ran out, call so and so and get some, and they'll take you.
I
it's
love
a
that.
really great
Yeah,
vibe down
That's a fun community you want to go be a part of.
here.
When
yeah.
people
Awesome.
take care of you like that,
Yeah.
that's
So how
really
many murals are there around here? There are 20 something.
There's over 30.
Okay.
There's over 30, and there's 2 or 3 sculptures, and we're working on getting a fourth sculpture at Triangle Park, which is that area of grass east of the high rise
Right.
here. We're working on relocating sculpture that's somewhere else. It's going to come there.
So can we say what kind of sculpture it is?
Yeah, it's called the Villagers, and actually, if you just Google the Villagers, it should show up. It is 3 separate coquina rock sculptures. They were sculpted and in place, so they're still where they were installed in the mid-70s.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
And the owners are tired. The people who own the property are wanted to donate them to EGAD. Well, we can't. We don't own land. We couldn't accept it, so you have to work with the city to make all of that happen. But that should be happening in the next maybe 6 weeks or so. They'll relocate all of that. That's happening because we were awarded a National Endowment for the Arts grant, an NEA grant. So we're doing 2 things. One is relocating the sculpture. The other one is we wanted to do a historic mural. First location kind of was a bust. Second location was a bust. So we just decided we're running out of time. We really need to pick a building and an owner and make it happen. So Intercoastal was thrilled to work with us, and so their wall that faces the road there, Eau Gallie Boulevard, they're going to put a mural up there. It's not a historic mural, but it's very, very cool, and we'll go through the permitting process.
Nice.
And all of that should be done by the end of March for sure.
So what is the mural process? Like if I was just a talented artist, which I am not, but that's why
You're not painting a mural, Mr. P.
that's why I appreciate art so much, right? If you can't do it, then you appreciate it. But like, how does that work? They come to the city. They have to come to the businesses. Do it themselves?
Organization has. I mean, we've just got a list of people, and then people that we know about already, or that write in, and here's our thing. And then the artists that have been involved in it, and some of the volunteers just kind of know people.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than we've done 2 or 3, can't even keep it straight, couple of different like mural installations. Rather than just do one,
Sure.
which this one's unusual, and only because the NEA is covering it, we're doing it. We decided some years ago to do what exists in the world, or what exists in the rest of the United States, are these larger mural events where you install a lot at once, and that was our anti-gravity project in December 2017 or 2018, not sure.
All right.
Sometime after the war.
Right. Yeah.
So old. Anyway, so we put in like 21 in that one.
That's
Which was
awesome.
a little bit more than we could handle, but
Sure,
it got
but-
done. And so
Multiple artists.
multiple artists, and it was kind of a week-long thing. They all come in and install them, and there was meant to be a big festival at the end of that. We kind of ran out of money, but we have the murals, and so it all happens kind of at once. You create a buzz.
That's certainly,
It's more of an
the buzz,
event.
that definitely
Right.
would bring people to the area, knowing,
Yeah.
oh man, I can see 21 different
Yeah.
things,
Right.
now.
But not only that, I think it's interesting that people around the United States know about little downtown village areas like this.
Yes.
Because a lot of the areas have their own association, Main Street or whatever. So
Yeah.
they know. So they look for that when they come into a town to get that. Instead of, and nothing against them all, but the malls are pretty much outdated these days,
Yeah.
and the people want to come into areas like this.
Right. They want the
So
experience. They want
the
the
other
sense.
cool thing that I really love about this place is the Rossiter House.
It's
Yes,
right to our left.
It's right across the street from where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the proximity. Like it's right.
It's
Everything's
right
so
there.
Everything
close.
is close,
If
yeah.
you're staying on the beach, you're only minutes away to come over. It's
Yeah.
minutes from the interstate. I noticed coming in through here, and so it's convenient to get here.
It is. They offer tours, and they also have lovely side yard on either side.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
there are private events there, and EGAD has held an event there every year.
Well, we've had garden parties there. Wasn't
Yes,
it?
women we love.
Yes,
Garden
women,
parties, huh?
Yes,
Women we
yes.
love. Nobody can get the name, but it's basically it's a party with a woman, and invite one you love.
Yeah,
So wait, I could go and party with a woman. Is what you're
Yes,
saying?
you absolutely can.
All right.
it's very cool.
It's
and
a
it's
celebration
so pretty.
of friendships and connection. It's
Okay,
not based
that's
on
wonderful.
having ovaries, or it's not based on being a mother.
Right.
It's not based on some accomplishment or some fancy title.
Right.
It's based on because women are the fabric of any society. Yeah.
They are in my household.
That's right. If you're a smart
they
man,
make
yes,
you friends.
ma'am.
They do the cooking. They teach the language. They do that kind of stuff.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
So, and the example that I give is New Orleans.
Yeah.
The Spanish went first, but they were just soldiers. They left. The French came. They brought women who taught language and food.
Yeah.
So they established a culture.
Listen, thank goodness for mothers. We all know that, right?
Women,
I'm just saying. All,
not just mothers.
No, you're right.
All
All of them. Yes, you're
Right.
correct. But
Right.
I just you made me
Yes.
think of all that you're talking about the mother, women teaching this and the other. I thought about my mom, about how much she
Yeah.
did for me as a youngin. So
Right.
awesome.
So the special events that happen here in the district.
Yeah.
I know that we've had a little bit of a slowdown because of the COVID situation, but again, it's going to start picking up. But tell us about some of the special events that you all put on.
Yes. EGAD started, every nonprofit is always looking for that one, rather than having 10 events that wipe you out. It's just exhausting. You don't make the money. Everybody's looking for that magical one thing that raises the money that
the
they
home
need
run.
so they can go on. And,
Yeah.
So we started a couple of years ago whiskey in the district. And we've
that'll get us
learned
started.
that some things went well, some things not so well. And we've done 2, and then we finally figured out how we could really make this magic. And then COVID hit. So it should have been February 13th. It won't be this year, but it will come back.
2021, it'll be there in February?
It'll be actually 22.
Oh, 22,
That's not
okay.
this. It should have been this February.
Okay.
But Whiskey in the District, we closed down the street. We have a band. There'll be distributor tents from every possible brand anywhere, not just one
Seriously.
distributor.
I
It'll be
know.
all
I
distributors.
attended, so I know.
Oh,
That's
my
right. I have a
goodness.
picture of you. That's right. We
Yes.
had an awesome tent. We're
It
not
was-
gonna save money on that right now.
Yeah.
Do they have packages where you get a drink and a hotel room? Like,
Hey, when that new hotel gets built, that's going
When
to be
that
pretty
gets
darn
built,
cool.
that
Buddy.
definitely would. We even looked into having because people. One year I had valley parking and nobody used it, and we were like, well, why not? Because everybody Ubered in.
Yeah,
So we
the smart
cut
ones.
all kinds of crap that we didn't. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Stuff that we didn't need to pay for. So next year it's going to be music, a crap ton of all kinds of beverages. And just fun, and food trucks and that kind of thing. We're
Yeah,
not
and I
kinda
noticed.
had me at
I
whiskey.
noticed as the night went on, it really got fun.
It was.
all the whiskey was settling in. You can
Did
imagine.
you
Has-
notice that?
Yeah.
You know, the best part about that is all the whiskey that comes back to my office.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
No, it's a fun event. I mean, and I think all your boutique shops, the people, the owners or whatever, just
people who
love
stayed
it
open had
because
really got good
They
nights.
got good nights, and people come in
Yeah.
and see things that they maybe normally
Yeah.
would not have seen.
Absolutely.
And just speaking of the shops, I mean, I love the shops. They are boutique. They are locally owned.
Mm-hmm.
You can get things that you don't see anyplace else.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
Very cool.
And thank you for saying that. And the one thing about them is you really need Eau Gallie and probably a lot of downtowns, but especially EGAD. You got to walk around and go in. Don't look at something and make an assumption, because I buy all of my earrings from the art galleries, but that none of them have earrings in the window. So you have to
Right.
go in and go, oh my God, look at all these beautiful earrings back here.
Just like the earrings that you're wearing now.
Yes, I
Yes,
got
I
them
know.
at
I
the-
like those
Actually, I
earrings.
got these at Artworks.
All right.
That's part of the real fun experience when you're on vacation is
Yes,
really getting
definitely.
into a unique town like this and really checking out the not so obvious stuff. You know, anybody can go to a chain restaurant or a chain
Right.
store,
Yeah.
but man, when you take the time to go in little places, I have so much fun. It's like you really end up extending your vacation a few days because
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I got to check this, that, the other. So that's cool that
Yeah.
they have, like you said, in the back room, so to speak. Like,
Yeah, and actually, a couple doors down from here, Art Expressions. It's a frame store. It's a great frame store, but she also has other things, and she's just selling these bags now. This one I had custom made, named for a magazine that we put out, the OG. But she has Eau Gallie Arts District on it.
Nice.
Those are going like hotcakes.
The
I don't know if she's got
OG. That's actually playing off a pretty good popular thing
Absolutely.
right now. I
It's a
love
little
it.
rebellious, isn't
Yeah, I like it. Sign me up for the Lisa fan club, by the way, right now. She's
right?
Thank you. I would
Yeah,
love
that's
to take
awesome.
credit for that name, but I
Okay,
cannot.
well.
We had a brainstorming. We're all sitting around going, what are we going to call it? We had all these stupid names.
Hey.
And we're like, okay, well, let's try again in another meeting. And somebody threw out, we're the OG. And I went, oh, my God,
That'll work.
that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love
so
it.
we did a
Pretty good.
magazine, 4 editions last year, not 2019. And we actually got it's online only, and you can go to theog.com and read them.
Who did not grab that? That's
And,
a
and when
big
you say
fumble.
OG, I mean, it's
EAU.
then G.
Then G.
Right.
But I think the website is the OOG. TAGEAU.
G.
The letter G.com.
Got
That's
it.
awesome.
And if you have to explain what the OG is, I'm not. Just-
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. So anyway, you go online and see the magazine.
Yeah, you can see the magazine, which is really all about
the area.
about here, but about more than here. It was
Right.
trying to kind of go into a lifestyle thing. But we did. The Florida Main Street State Association gives out awards once a year, and we got an award for a publicity.
Great.
You know, we had thousands of people read it, but to really take it forward, at some point it needed to be printed a little bit. But I hate killing trees, so But I'm leaving, and we don't know what'll happen to it. So.
Wow. Well,
I mean,
speaking of that, I mean, your retirement is coming up. So when are you leaving?
I'm technically December 31 is
Okay.
the end. I
Wow.
usually close. We always close for Christmas. This is very, very quiet in the office. It's a good time to close. So I'll just kind of put out fires. But it's basically now.
Okay.
And my
Congrats.
replacement, I'm not sure I should say her name because, things happen
Right.
just like I don't announce a store's going to open until it's open.
Right.
Because stuff happens. But we do have a really talented, wonderful person
Who's
in the
gonna
chamber.
take your place?
ready to-
Great.
yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's she'll come on, or
January
he or
2nd.
she will come on in
Yeah.
January.
That person will come on January 2nd, and we'll put out a press before then. I'll have something out at the end of the year. And
Well, you have done a great job around here. I mean,
I
I remember when you came, and I remember what you have done, and I know that you're going to say, "I'm not going to take any credit for it."
no, I'll
it's
take
like-
some credit.
Well, now she's getting ready to retire. I'm taking all the credits
well,
too.
and you should, because you're a great leader and you work with all these people. And going back, I want to say one other thing too. In dealing with a lot of the merchants here, because I shop in all the boutiques because I just love it. All your locally owned people, the stories that they have to tell. I mean, if you go to the owner and you start talking to them, like, how did you wind up here? Like, where did you get your passion for this? They all have their own story, and it
Yeah.
shows in the way they display their wares. I tell you, it's just charming, and
Well, I
it's
appreciate
great.
it. The one thing that has been a problem for me is if anybody within the sound of my voice over the last few years knows that my knees gave out. This is a physical job,
Yeah.
and I just did not have the spit to run around and spend time on the street in the last couple of years, the job kind of requires. I mean, that's an element of it. It's not all of it, and so it was time for me to move on. But that was the part of the job that's really kind of the most fun.
Yep.
If you can do it, and that was the part I really couldn't do. So a lot of phone and email rather than walk. I literally would drive to a store and go there because to walk there, I'd get halfway there and just pull over and start crying.
Oh,
Well, I remember we
so-
used to do fam tours with the Office of Tourism here, and we would have you take us around. But you had
would
a
have
little
a bike.
You'd have a bike,
An
yeah,
adult trike. And in
exactly,
fact, we
yeah.
had a Chinese delegation, and I'm taking them everywhere and showing them all these beautiful, the riverfront, and look, all the just so much stuff. They're all taking pictures of me, a
Right.
chubby
Yeah.
girl on a trike. So I think I'm famous in the Chinese internet.
yeah. They're worshiping you from the OG.
I remember that, but
But
they had a great time.
This
it was
is a
fun.
beautiful area you could ride your bike around too. Though. Speaking
Absolutely.
of that, I mean,
Absolutely.
again, it's all about scenery, right? It's
Yeah.
like this is
And
au naturel.
we've had a lot of ideas for events that we haven't actually done, but we have alleys. And not a lot of places in Melbourne really have alleys. So for every main road, there's like a shadow alley.
Cool.
And I kind of wanted to do like the Eau Gallie Alley Rally.
I
or
like
whatever.
it.
That's nice.
But
I
we couldn't
like
get that
it.
permitted because
good marketing.
You really, there's potholes. You can take your life. It would be like Iron Man.
Well, you make an event out of that too. Something
Yeah.
to do with the
We
potholes.
never got around to that one. It would be a great place if everybody decorated. Really, I've been pushing, especially the merchants have really amped up the volume of making their own Christmas windows
there you
more
go.
interesting.
Yeah.
But if you could get the whole neighborhood, then you could kind of do a walk and roll Christmas thing because you
Yeah.
could walk it, you could do a bike, whatever you wanted.
You do a pothole party,
a what?
a pothole party? Right?
There might be some people that drop the whole part of that.
Oh well. Anyways.
We do have a vape store over there.
Hey.
But I wanted to mention your events. I mean, Whiskey in the District was the one where that's our star that's not happening. And of course, I'm leaving, so who knows?
Yeah.
It'll be a new world. But we're really fortunate to have some other people hold their big events here. And so going chronologically, we don't do much in the summer because it's so hot. But we have historically done Dog Days. Dog Days was massively popular. And people, and I used to have Keith Winston from the zoo come down and judge, and it was just so much fun. But people were melting. It was just the hottest. It was always in August.
Right.
So I would love to see that one come back, but you have to. Everything has to be monetized if a nonprofit's running it.
That's a big thing, though. People and their pets and being able to bring them,
Everybody
pet-friendly areas. They got hotels now
Yeah,
that accept
absolutely.
them, and it's like that's great to know. This is another area
Yeah.
too that
Yeah. And then
accommodates
in
that.
You can bring your whole family.
Absolutely, absolutely. And September, we usually host Space Coast Pride's annual festival and parade.
Okay.
It's a massive parade. It's so much fun, and it's growing every year.
Awesome.
And I've never seen so many. I mean, tons of people come down. So that's great for the merchants. It's great for everybody. And we have the unique, really a shout out to anybody who wants to have an event. Eau Gallie is a great place to have it because we do have the public square, and there is a band shell. There's permitting
that's
through the
awesome.
city. People call my office all the time and go, "I'd like to use the square," and I went, Oh, okay, that'll be $500, please. But I don't own it. EGAD doesn't own it. Yeah, all of that. Call the city or call Parks and Rec.
But that is not, now you also have the first Friday.
Well, yeah. So, but after the major events, there's Pride, and then in October, Intercoastal does Brewfest, Rocket Water Brewfest.
Brewfest.
And the first time they did that was 2014, because their first day was my first day on the job.
Wow.
And the rain was biblical. It was terrible. And I was in the office on Saturday kind of, moving things around and getting ready for Monday. And I saw people coming in droves, like, get on the ark. And they were all wearing
On the ark.
garbage bags. They're all wearing garbage bags to keep dry. And I thought, if that's not a winner of an event, there isn't one.
Wow.
Well, a lot
people
of
came down
marketing
anyway.
is being memorable.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
and
unique.
for an event,
It was
you want to be
first.
memorable, and
Yeah.
you're going to absolutely remember the day that you got
definitely
downpoured
be
on.
unique and be first.
Yeah.
First Friday is something that EGAD did religiously starting in 2010. Every first Friday. Actually, it was started at Fusner Art Museum with their Jazz Fridays. And that used to be, music in the square, and people walk around.
Great way to get people
And then it
out.
grew a little bit, and you sell beer, and it's all kind of a hassle, and you don't make that much money. So from that aspect of it, and then some people would sit in the park and not walk the street, and kind of the idea was to get them to.
Right.
So it's evolved. Now it is we publicize. It's First Friday, come on down, but it's really dig into the neighborhood.
Yep.
There's nothing in the square. Because it's that yin and yang. Well, if we put it in the square, then people will stop there, and it defeats the purpose
Right.
of this. So anyway,
You got to make a game out of it. Like you go to the theme parks. There's hidden things, and if you find them all, you get a this.
Well, that's
Scavenger
where
hunts.
somebody younger than me needs to do that job,
That's
because
it.
somebody says, what's that when you hide things and
Scavenger
find,
hunt.
Yeah, I just go to sleep. So
Yeah, but there is a big. I mean,
There
what was that
absolutely
thing that was a digital thing? The game that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
went all over.
the Pokemon
Pokemon-
was huge
Pokemon,
here.
yeah.
Oh my
Huge.
gosh, it was global, and people were coming down here and like
In
a
the park.
business. Hey, I got a Pokemon thing. So there is a market for that. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
and again, what a great area
And
to
there's
do
some
that.
geocaching.
that would have been
here.
good.
Geocaching,
There's a
too.
couple things. Not
Yeah.
that I don't really know what that means.
No,
So-
well, that's
But I get
similar
it.
to the Pokemon
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
if you had them like in the boutiques and whatnot, I mean, that's a
Yeah.
great way to be kind of checking it out. And
I wonder if that geocaching is still going on because they hide those little.
They hide
there's a
all
store
over.
in Merritt Island
I
that
know.
advertises. So I'm assuming there is.
Yeah.
I
It's a
think
market for everybody.
You
There
may have a
is.
bunch of geocaches right here in the
In the
village.
bush.
There are,
And then you
there
have
are
the
some
rocks.
already. I
Yeah.
know where one is. That's
Yeah. No, I know.
I'll tell you
so,
for $500.
I hear ya.
do I hear
Anything
550?
to raise money for the EGAD Arts District.
Absolutely,
So what do you think,
absolutely.
since you're leaving, what would you say is EGAD's primary contribution?
Oh, wow. Well, first and foremost, we created enough buzz down here to draw people to the area and go, first of all, wow, this is here. Second of all, I want to be here. I want to open a business here. I want to have an event here. I just want to come shopping. Because it was really going downhill. They asked for, the folks here asked the city to create a Main Street program, to create a CRA, a community redevelopment program, which is a whole thing. And they started that in 2000. And then the Main Street program came on in 2010. And at that time, it literally was easily 45%, 40%, 35% vacant.
Vacant.
Wow.
So we have not only filled it, we really have people that want to come. We have demand for people.
That's great.
But it's pretty hard to, you can go up a second story, but kind of redeveloping this street would be tough. So we're really kind of looking at, it's time to expand into another road. So that will be the future.
Wow.
And there are some folks that would like to make this pedestrian only, and then really activate the street all the time and not just leave it for traffic, and then have something else down the road. But that's what we did. We put us on the map, and that's half the battle.
That's it.
That is truly half the battle, and in a good way. I mean, even with the murals and everything, the way muralists and street artists, and I'm not one, so but what I've heard said to me is they paint it, they leave. They are not really attached to it. It's paint on a wall. It can be painted over with something
How
new.
could you? I mean, if I painted something like that,
I asked
I would be
one
living
guy,
there,
my-
taking autographs. Like
My favorite story is
Selfie with the artist. Selfie with the
That's
artist.
right,
Come on.
man.
I did this.
well,
come
we
on
did
over.
that like you would do that like during the installation and stuff. But 2 years later, they're not. I mean, they're gone. They're all over the world.
Your favorite story
My
is?
favorite story is the guy who painted. His name is Hoxa. He painted not only the Miami Dolphins Stadium,
Wow.
He also
Wow.
did intercoastals, mosaic type, the kind of graphic. He came into my office hi, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
To get something, and I sat down and just started talking to him because I was really curious about the whole thing and how he feels. Like, you've done this thing. Do you kind of feel any connection to it? And he literally said, no, it's kind of like being in the Navy. I'm there. I spend my time. I do my thing. I leave. I don't know if I left children behind.
Oh, boy.
But I never
boy.
go back. I don't know. I'm not attached. It's yours. So
Right.
you do what you want with it.
Well, I guess after you do so many, but again, I've tried to be an artist, and I tell people I draw a mean stick figure. That's about it.
Well, I'm a hack. I'm a hack. That's all.
My wife has come down here. She's done some things kind of like painting with a twist, those kind of things, and
man.
the type of things she's come home with. I'm like, how the heck did you? And we have one that's in the house, and every time I'm serious, and I'm not just saying because she's probably listening, every time I see it, it's of Disney of Magic Kingdom, the artistry that went into this, but she learned it from down here, and I said, I wish I could do that. So you look at these murals.
When you have a good teacher, though, they can make you feel like an artist. Because I'm the same way. I've done one of those, and that's definitely an elephant. You can tell it
right.
came out really
We have
good.
one mural on the alley back there that's black and white. It's called Sonic Vortex. It kind of goes in a circle, like it's like it might be moving.
Yeah,
Okay.
That
that's
was
cool.
it was pencil drawn, projected onto the wall,
Okay.
and the wall was painted white first, and then it was projected, and those lines were drawn.
That's
and
what I
then
need.
The
Tracing.
volunteers came in and painted what was supposed to be black. So
Wow.
almost all the murals have some volunteer assistance, like background.
Good.
Because it's going to be all one color over here, and then the artist applies layer on top of that.
I
can't even color in the lines.
I was going to
though.
say I have issues with coloring the lines too, which is but tracing. If I can trace to start with, that'll at least get me going.
Unfortunately,
I don't
the
know.
queen of clip art.
I don't think that you ought to sell yourself short because he's in a competition right now in his neighborhood for who has the best display of Christmas
Christmas lights.
display.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I just saw his Christmas light display, and let me just tell you, you don't think that you're artistic. You
I'm
did
trying.
you did an artistic flair, and I'm hoping you win. So
Thank
we're going to keep everybody informed as to who wins in his neighborhood.
I need
for
an award
sure.
just for not falling off the roof. That I'll
Yeah.
take.
That's funny.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate
funny.
that.
But tell us, Lisa, again, tell us the website they can go to so that our listeners
EGAD Life, EGADLIFE.com.
just
I
think
like
of EGAD.
Yeah.
EGAD Life.
All right, so you came
love
down
it.
here 10 years ago or whatever it was now, and
From
and-
DC.
From DC, and I know that you know everything with the Eau Gallie Arts District and everything. But our show is based on people from in the area or out of the area wanting to come here to the entire Space Coast. So in your free time, which I know retirement is coming up,
Yeah.
what do you like to do? Like, how do you personally spend your free time? And like, people like to know where the locals go. So what are some places that you would recommend?
She looks like a surfer
people?
to me. Are you a surfer?
No, I broke my girlfriend's nose when we were in the 8th grade on a surfboard.
Oh.
She's still telling that
What
story.
are the odds? So that's where I go when it comes up to bad
No.
story.
Well, it's going to be different now than it was because
Sure.
I'm older and I got knees now.
But a lot
that,
of
physical.
our audience is, it doesn't matter.
I don't turn my brain off. I'm behind the computer a lot, and I'm
Okay.
still always trying to come up with ways that I can help, especially retailers, learn how to, the downtown stuff gets into your blood, and whether it's public or not, I work a lot on trying to help people figure out ways that they can increase their business.
That's great.
It was
Community
actually it was
partner.
my idea to tell Jody to sell these bags, and she went off and bought them, and they're a runaway hit. So
Great job.
It's things like that. It's hard when you're running a small business. It's just you. You can't leave for lunch.
Right.
I think, and I'm also involved at a lot of Main Street. There are several Florida Main Street people. There's 55 Main Street programs in the state. Some of us got together and created a nonprofit called Florida Redevelopment or Florida Downtown Association. So it's a new association that focuses on not what the state does, boring stuff, but I'm involved in Main Street at the state level now and helping the individual Main Street programs focus on the executive director more than their downtowns.
That could be, I'm just sitting here thinking again, I love exploring stuff like that, right? So that could be kind of a cool initiative, like 55 Main Streets in 55 weeks, something like that, like each week throughout the
There
state.
should be a map, and that's actually one of the things I was thinking
Yeah.
about because I've pushed myself. Most women my age aren't as computer savvy as I will say I am. I pushed myself to learn and a younger person will go, it's not hard to make a Google map. Or ask my sister to make a Google map and her head will explode. So one of the things that Visit Florida has some information about the downtowns, but it's not as good as it should be. So I thought one of these days I'm just going to get in a car and just go to each one of these, even if I do it like chunks of time, go to each one of these things and build an incredible map of each downtown, and not necessarily what's there because you can link to them, but things that are in the area as well. There's a whole tourism. To me, there is a major tourism. Main Street programs in Florida or in any state are tourism because it's ecotourism. People come down here for the authentic, what was here, the history, all of it. Maine, the state of Maine, has a fantastic one. And there are other states that will capitalize on something. Like Georgia has something called Peaches to Beaches, where there's this one road that winds through the state, and there are particular days of the year where you go on that road, and it's just thrift store and vintage stuff all the way, and fruit markets and all of this, and you drive that all the way to the beach. And there are other places, like Texas has a massive vintage furniture thing where you drive this whole road through the state of Texas, and it's people take their vacations to go to that, and they show up in trucks, and going home they look like Beverly Hillbillies with grandmas on top because
that's a good movie and show.
But we need that for that for Florida.
The historic downtowns are a huge draw, and they're all on the water.
Yeah,
and there are definitely some on the inside for sure, but they're all in beautiful places.
Well, I mean, like if you're like a foodie, for instance, every like even here, there's some really cool restaurants. I mean, pubs and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like that could be a cool circuit to do. If you're a shopper, you come here for the shopping.
Right.
So
antique stores do the same thing. They do wherever you can go antiquing.
Right.
So adding the downtown areas would be fabulous.
So
that's a kind of a goal of mine is to see if I can pull that off.
All right.
Well,
we'll
you've
look
done a
forward
lot.
to seeing that.
Yeah, you've definitely built a name for yourself already. So if anything, you've got a legacy going. Great job on that.
A great legacy. And now that you need to retire and that you need to relax, let me tell you where you need to go. You need to go to the beachside. Right?
Absolutely.
The
Beachside Hotel and Suites.
They have
that. Oh my gosh.
Retro feel. They have
It's
that
in
retro
Cocoa
feel.
Beach, and they've just had a remodel, $6 million, and it's unbelievable. You would like it because it's very retro, and the colors are unbelievable.
And
they
the
have
lazy
a lazy
river.
river right through the middle.
Yeah.
Cool.
They have a mural.
Yeah,
by the
and
way.
they do have a
They do
beautiful
have
mural.
They do have an awesome mural
right.
there that you can check it out. But the lazy river makes it easy to get into too, so there's no stress of having to jump into the pool. You can kind of just like.
I'll look into that. I won't even ask for the Bonnie King discount.
Yeah,
And
I didn't ask for that.
I could go for a hot cocoa from Duck Dive Bar right now. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That place is
They
you'd
show,
love it.
They do, and they
Anything
show
from the
movies
Duck
on the
Dive Bar.
weekend against the wall. They show some movies, and then they, as I said, the Duck Dive Bar, which has football on the weekends, which is
You're
very
a football
cool.
fan, I hear, right?
I am a diehard Steeler fan.
You're a
There you
Steeler.
go.
Die hard.
Roethlisberger's looking good this year.
Until they played my Washington football
listen,
team. I'm just
everybody-
saying. First
Are
place.
you still a Skins
first place.
fan, not Skins fan?
I'm always a Skins fan.
You're still
but,
a Washington. Even when I lived there, I wasn't a Washington.
Look,
fan.
I was born that way. It's not my fault. It's my dad's fault.
Hey,
But
I'm
I
a
love you,
Raider.
Pops.
I'm a Raider.
Oh
I'm
my
having
God.
a tough time right now.
Well, whenever the Steelers play Washington, it's a home game for the Steelers.
Look, I know my wife is a Steeler fan, so I have. It was a rough. It's been a rough few years with that game, but this, right now I can brag. So I'm
yeah,
gonna.
no, I was there.
Everybody gets
back
lucky.
in the
Well, hey,
70s.
I'll take it. Yeah. No,
I was
it's
in
cool.
Pittsburgh, not living there, but I went to college about 3 hours in Maryland, Frostburg.
Oh yeah.
Went to
Okay.
Frostburg.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I drove over to on my birthday in 1970, whatever it was. I went to Pittsburgh and just had a great old time. Came home and it was the opening at 11 o'clock that night, or 11:30 was the opening, very first SNL.
Oh,
So
wow.
that night is really captured in my head because
Now, do you have a towel?
dumb question. Come on.
I want to know how real you
My
are.
dog has a towel.
Your dog has a Alrighty then. Well, I had a dog named Raider when I was growing up as a kid. So, I mean, when I tell you we're a Raider fan, we are.
Yeah.
And we're crying a little bit this
Diehards.
morning. But anyway.
Yeah.
You guys are diehards.
I am diehard. I'm sorry. Yeah, just am. Definitely.
You still have a very good team this year with a really good shot at it.
And I'm a
so-
big TJ Watt fan.
Oh, man. That
Of
whole
course, 'cause-
family.
Well, my
How
son went
can
to
you-
Wisconsin. So
Okay, yep.
he did too.
But Bradshaw's the one that got you in, right? You're a Bradshaw fan?
I am a Troy Polamalu.
Oh,
Okay.
I would
All right.
have his babies. Right?
All right. Well,
I can't, but I would.
I
love
see
Troy.
his commercial with the hair, and I just wish I had the hair. A little
He
bit.
made me. Everybody pays
he has
attention
nice
to
hair.
offense. They
Yeah,
do
yeah.
Defense. It's all about defense. And of course, if you watch Steelers, you know it's all about defense. Troy was a defense. So now I pay attention to the it's like, do we have the ball? Okay, I'll go do something.
Well, I hear that this would be a good spot to watch the football games here in the district, and they get one of those big screens right in the middle of the park.
FM has them.
Awesome.
So, yeah. They do. They have screens back in a not the front room, but in the back room.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, it started off, I was a little bit of a fan, and as the show has gone on throughout, I'm absolutely all in. So sign me up for the fan club. Thank you very much for joining us today. This was awesome.
I had a great time.
Thank you for teaching everybody about our area. I mean, this area is beautiful, and what you've done. And I know with retirement coming up, the fact that you took time out right before your retirement to do this
Could I leave
really
parting
means a lot
words to Brevard County?
I would love
that. If you
that.
attend an event and there's a tip jar, put something in it.
That's right.
Put
Support
something
these
in
people.
it, because if it's free to you, it is not free. Somebody paid for that somewhere, and if you want to see that event again, put in $1, put in a 10, a 20, a 50.
Artists.
It's not. It's just to have the events are very expensive to put on, and if you want to have them, you got to pay for it one way or the other.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well said.
I love it.
Pete, we have listeners across the United States that we're hoping are planning a vacation here to come to the Space Coast, and we like to tell them that when they arrive, or even if they want it now, the Space Coast Fun Guide has all information about the area. It has discount coupons in it, etc. So, Pete, tell them the website that our visitors can go to.
Yeah, they can just go to spacecoastfunguide.com. We have all the listings. You can actually download the digital copy of our guide on the website. On every little page, there's a button you can click so you can view it. If you're not at one of the hotels or attractions that we're at to pick up the book, you can actually go to spacecoastfunguide.com and click on the digital version. Also, we have landing pages for all the businesses that we work with. Many of the BCA partners that we have, Brevard Cultural Alliance.
Right.
They're listed there.
Yeah.
We have events on there. So the website is very informative for people if you're thinking about coming to the area, or if you live here already and just don't realize how much stuff there really is to do here.
There's so much, too.
That's one of the best things. I joined the Space Coast Fun Guide a year ago working with John and his dad, and I had been in this area for 20 years. 20 years. And to see, oh man, there's an Eau Gallie Arts District. Oh man, check out Palm Bay. Look what Titusville is doing. There is so much to do in this area that's more than the beach. And please go enjoy our beaches because they're beautiful. They're great.
Absolutely.
But there's really so much to do. So many great places
one of the
to
things
eat.
that I want to look into also is kind of do a highlight, like a up close and personal with. A lot of businesses have been here. They predate the Space Coast. They predate Kennedy and all of that. So there are a lot of people that have been in business for over 50 years, or around 50 years or over.
That's huge.
Yeah, and I think some of them need to be highlighted. And we've got a couple of them here. The Eau Gallie floors. They opened in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, and Ace Hardware opened he worked. The current owner worked there for his dad as a teenager.
That was my question. You have a lot of generational businesses here?
We do. Those are the two that are coming to mind, and I so apologize if I've forgotten someone.
Somebody was talking about Rick's Furniture was here from years back?
Yeah, but they're gone now. That building is empty, and I'm hoping like heck. I would love, me personally, I don't own it, so I can't make it happen, but I'm kind of prodding the owner to turn that back into a theater, performing arts, like a club venue.
Oh, nice.
Without seating like a theater. It should be open space so that you can, because if you go to a concert, in a lot of places, it's just stand-up. I hate that personally, I know, but those are popular. So you can have kind of limited balcony seating or whatever. But that, to me, if you look at it from behind the building and you can see the original dome of that theater.
Neat.
And it's awesome. So I would love to see that turned back into a theater. And then what was popular here when I showed up, but it was gone before I actually got here, was what's called Old Dr. Joe's. You guys probably know it. The restaurant
right, yes.
Yeah, that was very popular. That's now a private build. It's empty because the building's in bad shape. But a brand new restaurant's going in behind it called Pineapple's EGAD. And they're going to have 3 different stages and a rooftop, everything.
Nice.
They're doing it right.
How do they get the name Pineapples?
I think they thought long and hard about that.
In
It's on Pineapple Avenue.
In hospitality, pineapple is the symbol of of hospitality.
Yes.
So
There's a colonial boy for you.
Oh well, come on now. Plus, I like pineapple.
Me too.
So I know.
Yeah,
but
me too.
So the other thing that we also like to do is if our visitors have any questions about the area, they can email us.
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
info
at spacecoastfunguide.com.
See how easy that is? Space Coast Fun Guide, yes.
Yeah. Look, you can go on our website. There's a form there, too.
Yeah.
You can fill that out. You can send over your information. Please check us out on Facebook, too. We're live right now on the 321 Liftoff podcast.
We're everywhere you want to be.
But you
let's
can
be
also
honest.
go to Space Coast Fun Guide on social media. Send us a message there.
Download
Tell
our
us
app.
Tell us what you like to do, where you want to see us do the show in the future. We'd love to, what your favorite things are in the area. Tell us,
And
Look,
we love to hear from people. We found out we have a lot of people listening from Seattle, Washington.
Really?
So, and then you just said that Palm Springs just
California.
said-
And, I got a call. I want to say it was Wisconsin a couple years back. We used to have a recipe for key lime pie that was in the book. And I had a visitor that had been here and picked up our book, and they actually keep it with them, and they bring it home as memorabilia. While they're here, they use it because it's utilitarian.
I used
So
to do that.
she called me, and she said, listen, I'm making your key lime pie right now. I see the recipe. Now, I got a question. You say do this. And, I didn't actually write the thing myself. But I took the time to investigate it and call her back. And so I love hearing from, like you said, we love hearing from the visitors. And we've got many loyal people that every year will actually call us and say, now I'm coming down. Is the new one coming out? So it's
right.
great.
And especially our return, as you know, we have a lot of return visitors. So it's always neat to hear from them as to what what memory did they create when they came. So it's all very cool.
And you stay in this area even when
I
you're
live
tired?
in the Atlantic. I used to live right
right.
down Highland, a couple blocks down. But
Because many people may come up to meet you when they see you around town. They come down.
yeah, they're going to.
there was a time when I was on the street a lot more and would go out to eat and stuff, and my husband would go, I really hate going out to eat with you. And because
My
people
wife used
stop all the time. It's like you're the mayor and you're not.
Yeah.
It's like, just eating here.
Yeah, we know.
My
that
wife used to get on to me.
Great.
She goes, "You think you know everybody?" And well, I do know that.
I
That
do
one
know.
and that one and that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's funny because back when I was living in D.C. and Bill Clinton was president, I remember was getting manicures somewhere with a friend, and I said, you know what, in D.C. It's so big. I could be having an affair with Bill Clinton, and no one would ever know because no matter where I went, I would never see anybody I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whereas here, no, you're always going to see somebody you
Yeah.
know.
Like cheers.
Oh, that's
So we have a week to go before Christmas. This
Odd comment about.
This is the last weekend before the big holiday and everything.
Before the,
so-
and of course next week, which will be Christmas Day,
Yeah.
we have we're going to do
Yeah.
a great
we'll be
podcast.
back at the beachside.
We'll be
hotel
back
and
at the
suites.
Beachside Hotel and Suites,
And we're
and
going
we
to talk
have
about Christmas.
and we're going to talk about Christmas, personal Christmas stories, and what we see for 2021. And we're going to be joined by the sales director of the Beachside Hotel and Suites, which is Michelle Martindale, who will share her background as well with Christmas, and the ex-director or previous director of the Office of Tourism, Rob Varley.
Oh yeah, he's
Very funny guy.
He is.
So he's going to come in and also give us some insight as to what he's doing and about Christmas. But it'll be all about the season, all about the holiday. And we just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes.
Merry Christmas to
Christmas.
everybody.
Have
Happy
a
New
happy
Year.
holiday,
Yeah, we're
and we
all-
look forward to the next week. And
Yeah.
it's
Just
going
be
to be
normal. Just
Yeah.
get back to whatever normal was.
Exactly.
Take
yeah.
time, enjoy your family, your friends, whatever you have around you, and be appreciative of 2020 is coming to an end, and things are gonna get really good. Things
Yes,
are
they
gonna get
will.
back, and
It
we're gonna
is,
be
and
great, man.
and just we're all in it together, right? So let's
Yep.
all be happy and take care of
Yeah.
one another and
And
do
shop
something nice.
local.
That's
Shop
it.
local,
Shop
please.
local.
That's right.
There-
Okay.
Shop local.
Yep.
All right,
Great.
guys. Well, thank you again. It was a great show. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everybody.
Merry
and we will
Christmas, and
see
see you
Thank
next
you
week.
all. Thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening to the 321 Liftoff podcast. I'm Promo Pete, and thank you again, Bonnie King. We had a great episode. Be sure to check us out every week. And if you want more information, visit spacecoastfunguide.com or beldingcommunications.com for everything that we're doing in the area. You can also check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/spacecoastfunguide for all the entertaining things to do in our area. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, take care.